and welcome to my 37th week pregnancy update. It's weird to think that these videos are really going to come to an end soon. I don't know when my last video is going to be, my last pregnancy update. I have no idea what's in store for the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to sit down and reflect on week 37 because I've just started my 38th week. So I can actually look back from beginning to end of week 37, everything that was included and how it's been really. And because I've not missed a pregnancy update or a week yet, I'm really pleased to be filming these because it's getting harder and harder. As you can probably tell, I'm in my dressing gown, my hair is up, and it's been one of those days where I've not wanted to do anything, I've not left the house, and I've not regretted a thing. So I've still wanted to sit down and chat through what happened during week 37, but this is about as much effort as I can make. So I hope you guys enjoy this video anyway. There's not too many things to talk about, but it's all looking pretty exciting. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. I also want to apologise for the background and the fact that it's not just plain and stuff. I think there's my shoe rail there, it's light, and the door. I've had to move where I'm filming because everything, this room has just become a bit of a junk room where we've put all baby stuff in for now. We've got Christmas stuff and everything is just everywhere. So it's really hard to film in this room still, but I am trying. But the first thing I wanted to talk about during week 37 is pretty exciting, and that was my midwife appointment, which should have been week 36, but it was week 37 because it was the day after I turned 37 weeks, because she wasn't in. I don't really know. It's one of those things that I don't understand why everything has been so difficult throughout this pregnancy in terms of information and appointments and things, but I did have a really positive midwife experience this week, and it's because we were talking about basically giving birth and my birth plan. So I'm going to start with that just because it's kind of really exciting and it's made me feel so much more at ease, slightly. I say that very, very loosely, about the process of going into hospital and what that will entail and what I can do to try and control certain things. Of course, giving birth is going to be one of those things that no one can control what's going to happen, and all that matters really is that you've got a team there ready to assist you should anything happen. But it's nice pre going into labour, especially as I've never done it before, to have a bit of a plan if I can stick to it. So the main things that we discussed was pain relief. I asked for more information about all the different types of pain relief because I know kind of through other people's experiences what they are and how they helped, but I feel for me, I just wanted to know the bare facts to then help make a decision based on what I think will work best for me. So based on that, the plan is going to be to start on gas and air. Obviously that's normally where most people start, and when Rich rings up, when if I start by getting contractions and then Rich rings up when they're 5 minutes apart lasting for a minute, to actually request a pool. I don't really want to give birth in a pool because I don't know, I just feel it slightly grosses me out. I don't know how I'm going to feel being in it, but I really want it more for pain relief because, say for example, when I'm at home, when I, before I was pregnant and I'd get really bad period pains, the first thing that I would do was run myself a hot bath and I'd lay in it and it'd always help. So I'm going to try and use a pool if they've got one available for pain relief. So that's the plan starting off with. Anything pethidine, for example, and an epidural are all going to be on standby should I want them. And again, because I have never gone through this process before, I might get there and be give me everything. And I feel it's quite ambitious to think I'll try and get through the majority on gas and air and in the pool. But it's one of those things that if I can reduce having too many things, for example an epidural, whilst I know it blocks off everything and it sounds like a godsend, the idea of it sounds amazing, but my body reacts so negatively with injections and needles that I feel having something that substantial will make my body go into overdrive, and I don't know how I'd react. So for me, obviously the priority really in that moment is to get the baby out. So if I feel I need it for that purpose, who's to say I won't have it? It's one of those things. But if I can avoid it, that would be better, because I know that I would prefer that post-delivery because you don't know how your body's going to react. So that's one thing that I'm trying to consider, but it's also nice to know that you have everything kind of on the table and should you want something, you can ask for it and they'll give it to you. And that was one of my fears, that if I kind of at this point say, oh, I want to try and do it as naturally as possible, and then suddenly there's no access to drugs, I can probably imagine that I would be pretty annoyed with myself. So that's the plan, but obviously it's good to know you can have access to everything. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'd need to be induced. You don't know if you'd need to have an emergency C-section. There's so many things that aren't in your control, but if you can try and make a slight plan to make you feel easy at the beginning and make you feel comfort, then why not? So that was the kind of loose plan, and she's obviously said you can take in music and anything like that that will help you relax. And I've also discussed as well with her delayed cord cutting, so I want to do that. I feel like it benefits the baby so much more if you delay it. So that's on my birth plan as well, to do that. Obviously to do skin and skin straight after, and I am going to try and breastfeed too. So it's that combination of things that hopefully, if everything goes to plan, then I'd like to do all of those things. But definitely look into delayed cord clamping, because it's so beneficial for your baby if you can delay it. Again, not in every situation you can. Sometimes it needs to just be cut if they are not breathing, for example. But if your labour goes smoothly and you are able to, it's so beneficial. So definitely look into it if you haven't. And I've also read the hypnobirthing book, so things like that will help me breathe. I've learnt breathing techniques through that and how to be in the right mind frame. So that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. In terms of other things at my midwife appointment, I obviously had my blood pressure taken, which I do at every appointment, and mine's been fine like the whole way through. They checked baby's heartbeat, which was absolutely fine. I think it's 130 beats per minute. She also measured me from like pubic bone to the top, but she doesn't mark it on the percentile chart anymore, so I don't know what I'm actually measuring, but she said it all was kind of lining up fine, which is good, because obviously a couple of weeks ago, I think it was when I was 31 weeks pregnant, she told me that baby was measuring quite small, whereas now that doesn't seem to be a problem at all, which is great. And she also took some blood, because I have a consultant appointment next week at the hospital to keep an eye on my platelet levels. I've mentioned this before, but my platelet levels have been going down and down and down like this whole pregnancy, and they just want to keep an eye on it. Obviously that's why I've been readmitted to the consultant, just because they dipped a lot lower, so they want to just keep an eye on that, because you need to be like above so much for when you go into labour. So I'll know what that is next week. Hopefully they've gone up, but the trend this whole pregnancy has been that they've gone down, so we'll see what they are next week, and I'll update you of course in next week's video. But other than that, it was a really positive midwife appointment. Rich came with me as well, which was amazing, because he asked questions about like, where do we go when we go to the hospital, what's this, what's that, and things that I wouldn't have thought to have asked, which is why I always kind of want him there on these later appointments, because I'm one of those people that forgets to ask like important questions. I come out and think, oh fuck. So it was good that he was there and he asked all the right questions. And yeah, she just obviously said like, start getting some food, like packing like a little bit of a picnic to take with you, because you're going to be hungry, and it's good to have like your own snacks and drinks and stuff when you're in labour. So we're going to start doing that. But other than that, that's kind of all that the midwife appointment had. I then went back to work afterwards, and yeah, it's just, it feels really weird, because obviously during that appointment you're talking about the end, and you suddenly realise how close it is, and the fact that you have to give birth, and all of these obvious things that you know are coming, but it makes it so much more real. So it was really good, and I was really pleased that we had that appointment and kind of answered all the questions that we had in our mind. So I felt really great after that. I also wanted to mention as well is that where my bump has obviously just been getting bigger and bigger week by week, it's just ginormous now, but the skin has really changed over the last week, and it's become so much softer. It's really weird. I don't know if anyone else has had that, but it's gone from feeling weirdly stretched, like you can almost feel it, to actually feeling quite soft. I've been continuously applying Palmer's Stretch Mark creams and lotions, as well as bio oil. My stretch marks do keep on growing, unfortunately, but again, I think I touched on this before, but I think it's more genetics, because my mum got stretch marks in the same position as where I've got them now for this child, so I'm not really surprised by that, but the more that I can nourish my skin and moisturise it, the better. And it makes it so much like, it makes it softer and less itchy and things like that. So that's been a nice touch because it's so much softer and like less irritating. But then also I keep getting stretch marks, so it's one of those things. I also booked in for baby sensory classes in January, which is really exciting. And I've booked with the girl that I work with that has just had a baby, which is amazing. So excited for her. And so our two are booked on the same classes, which is nice because it's a great way to like meet other mums in the area. But I'm also not going to be going on my own because I know Abby, who will also be coming with me. So I'm pleased that we've done that. It was one of those things I was thinking, I don't know whether to do it because obviously she's only going to be a couple of weeks old by that point, and I don't know how involved they get or whether she'll just sleep through the whole thing. It was £70, but that's for 10 weeks of sessions, which works out about £7 a session, and they're like an hour long. So I didn't think that was that bad. And if anything, it's good for me because it gives me a reason to go out every week. It's an excuse to meet other mums and hopefully develop friendships. So whilst she might not be as involved as like other people will be, like these classes are from birth to 6 months, so there will be things to like stimulate her. But I just thought it'd be quite a nice thing, and then that will last for 10 weeks as well. So that's quite nice and something nice to look forward to in the new year as well. So I am really looking forward to those, and hopefully I'll be able to like let you know how they go. If you have any particular videos you'd like to see once she is born, do let me know, because any inspo would be good, because I'm sure that my brain will be like mush after I give birth and I won't know whether I'm coming or going. So if there are any particular videos you'd like to see, do let me know. Just comment down below and I'll hopefully get something like that filmed for you. The next symptom I've touched on every week since week 35, but I've continued to lose my mucus plug, which is like when you wipe, it's like snot basically. It's TMI, it's horrible, but it's a sign that the end is coming basically. And it is exciting because it's just these little signs and symptoms that you're beginning to think, oh, like, what does this mean? Or what does this mean? Or is this a sign of labour's coming soon? So there's been like no blood or anything in that. It's just been consistent in terms of just being like snot basically is the best way to describe it. And that's just been consistent for the past 2 weeks. So I don't know. Obviously, it's not the same as when Rich's sister had it, because for her, she had that and then she was in labour within a week. So for me, it's lasted a lot longer, but it's nice to know. And I mentioned it to my midwife and she said that's only a good sign because it means that your body is preparing for delivery and for baby to be moving down. I also forgot to mention as well, in my midwife appointment, when she like kind of felt where baby was, she's obviously still head down, which is amazing. She said where my pelvis is, her head is like that, so it's beginning to descend, which I thought was happening because I felt so much more pressure down there, and throughout the week it's only got more and more intense, so I feel like she is beginning to like drop very slowly. So it could be a sign that again labour could happen at any time, there's no knowing. And the only other symptom really to mention in week 37 is that I'm not sleeping very well at all. It's one of those things that I'm struggling to get comfortable, and then quite often I'll fall asleep not that long after I go to bed, which is good, but I'm constantly waking up in the night like tossing and turning. But when you turn over when you're pregnant, it is literally like moving weights in your stomach, and I can feel her positioning. So if I'm laying on one side and I can feel her obviously towards the bottom of my stomach there, and then like one end I can feel like nothing, and then you can feel all the weight is shifted, and as you turn over you literally can feel the baby move, and it's the weirdest feeling ever. And it's something that it does weird me out every time I move over, but with that in mind obviously I'm conscious of like moving too much, and if I lay on one side, go towards my back and then move over, when I lay on my back, it's like things drop down and it's so uncomfortable and so painful. I've continued to have mild leg cramps as well. They're just not going away now. And yeah, I'm having to get up in the night to pee all the time, so then you try and get comfortable after you go to the toilet. And it's one of those battles that I think that I'm waking Rich up more than I'm making myself uncomfortable, which is annoying for him, but then it's also one of those things that, like, he said, oh, I can't wait for you to not be pregnant because I might be able to sleep a little bit better. And I was like, do you know what having a little baby is like? Because you are not getting any sleep anytime soon. But that's kind of how I've been feeling during week 37. There's nothing more really to mention, and it's just weird to think that any of these videos could be my final video, and I will name the final one like the final pregnancy update, just so you guys know when to expect them to come to an end. But hopefully I make it at least to like 39 weeks. I feel like she might come around then, but there's no knowing. Obviously, being 37 weeks this week, she's full term, so she could come at any time and things would be good, which is great, because a couple of weeks ago when I started feeling a lot different, I was so worried she was going to come early, and I was just thinking, what if there's something wrong? What if she comes out and obviously her lungs aren't fully developed and things like that? Whereas being 37 weeks, it's such a like reassuring feeling to know that you've got through the worst of it. If she was to come today, she'd be absolutely fine. So that's a lovely feeling, but then it's also very scary to think that she could literally come at any time. So that's it for week 37. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you have. It really does help me out so much. And yeah, that's it for this week. I'm so excited to like share with you how everything goes from here on out, because I feel like it's going to be an intense couple of weeks, and I'm so happy that I'm able to share this journey with you guys, because you have been such an amazing support, and it's so nice to know that I'm not doing it on my own and I can just talk to you guys, and for some reason you guys are watching my videos and the support really is amazing. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm so excited to introduce her to you. I just can't begin to imagine what she's going to look like and her characteristics, and it's all of these exciting things that make you really excited for labour, and then you realise you also have to push them out. So not so exciting, but the whole process has been amazing, and I'm just so shocked that it's come to an end so quickly. So yeah, we'll see how many more weeks we've got left of these updates, but I hope you've enjoyed this video nonetheless. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss my final weeks of pregnancy and also my labour and delivery story and all things like that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!